We are back with another episode of the Agent P Show. Your host here, Phillip Salem, or as everyone calls me, Agent P. I am your NYC and LA-based real estate agent known as hashtag the Bicoastal Baddie. Now also with the podcast where all are welcomed. An agent in the streets with the podcast with all the deets. I know it's cheesy, but let me go with it. Thank you so much for tuning in. This episode is titled The Targeting of Trans Rights. And my next guest, I am not only such a good friend with, but I am also a huge fan of. She is a chart-topping singer-songwriter and pop recording artist. She is an international performer, touring with Rent, opening for Christina Aguilera at NYC Pride, performing with Grammy Award winner Mark Ronson, not to mention has been featured on the Grammys homepage. She has also shared the stage with Shaka Khan. She has won an array of awards and was invited to speak as a TEDx talk host on Black trans woman empowerment, becoming one of the most valuable talks in TEDx talk history. It keeps going, people. She has performed on countless sold-out stages around the world, has released so many hits such as It's Raining Them, which is one of my favorites, and Elemental, available everywhere where music is streamed. Right off the stage of Miami Pride Week, the dynamite, the gorgeous, the effervescent, the talent, all the words, Mila Jam, people.
I want that every time.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That was beautiful.
But that's your resume. That's a glimmer of your resume. How does it make you feel hearing me read that?
It feels different hearing someone else read it. Yeah, when I've lived it and done it, it's like, what more can I do? Where can I go? I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
And it does feel different.
But I think being in your presence is not only being around a star, but it's around being around love and acceptance. Every time we met, probably 16, I'm not trying to age us, 16, 17 years ago, we have some pictures of us.
We have known each other for quite
throughout
a while.
the years that will pop up here on the screen in 1 second. That's us.
Oh,
we look cute.
You look so cutie.
I feel like that was a release party of yours.
Yeah, that was like a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Love this. But I feel like just every time around you, you are just such an icon. So
thank you so much.
thank you for being you.
Absolutely. Thank you for being you.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
You know, I have to literally, I stopped breathing because I was going through so many of your things. What do you think you're most proud of that you've accomplished so far, if there is only one thing?
Oh my God. The thing I'm most proud of is honestly just being the manifestation you see right in front of you, just being myself, being here.
Yeah.
And this is who I always knew I was when I was young and wanting to just be in a place of loving myself totally and being authentic and being the woman that I always knew I was and just being celebrated for that.
You know, we're going to dive into that a lot on this podcast. We're going to get back in to the topic that you were just speaking about, but you literally just got off a flight from Miami Pride.
Yes,
and
just
this
came
is how you
from
look.
Miami right now.
Flawless.
Oh my God.
You know, I have a sneak peek of your performance that you just posted on Instagram. We're going to watch it right now. Okay, look at that crowd. One, look at this ensemble. Look at these moves. You own the stage. How did it feel being at Miami Pride this year?
It was beautiful. I had a blast. The weather was perfect. The crowd was perfect. Everyone's energy was just on 10. Felt like the love and just the energy. And I'm happy that I got to finally do Miami Pride. I've been wanting to do it for about a year or so now. Okay. And we finally made it happen. And I feel like there's so many prides around the world that there's something that you could do that you just want to I want to do all of them.
I feel like Miami's one, especially with what's going on in Florida.
Yes, it's a very special pride. Yeah.
We'll get there in a second, but I want to dive deeper into your music and entertainment career in a minute. But I want to bring to light on this podcast the severity in which the trans community is targeted every single day. Yeah. According to the Trevor Project, 1 in 4 Black transgender youth reported a suicide attempt in 2023. The severity is unparalleled. I don't really have a question here. I just want to get your feelings on this statement.
Yeah, what we're seeing now is a little bit of this rollback in support from people who are scared, and the fear mongering has gotten to a level where it's just out of control. I felt like, after the pandemic hit, we found some, comfort in supporting each other. Everyone went through the same thing. And then we were able to say, like, listen, your family, you're my brother, you're my sister, we need to stand for each other. Trans liberation movement rights was all happening, and everyone was really learning a lot about the community.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was a lot more understanding and love and support. And as the years kind of have gone by since like 2021, 2022, it's quickly changed the landscape of just rights for a lot of humans in general.
So tell me, what was that shift and change? Why do you think in a year everybody was yay, everyone
I think
support
that
each
shift
other?
was because we get, as human beings, something really major happens. We panic. We need to like find a way to come together, and we do come together. It's a fleeting moment of like support, real support.
And hope.
Right? But then things kind of just get back to where they were. And people
Yeah.
start going back to their everyday thing, and they start to forget about the people that have been hurt and that have been marginalized and that are walked all over. People just kind of start to ignore things. And I know that it's really difficult to implement new, habits and
Yeah.
to sort of learn new things and to like put them into your everyday practice. But you kind of have to do that. Like, that's how we grow.
You started this campaign, Stop Killing Us. Do you feel like this is, obviously it's an obvious reason why you started this, but what was the further background on that campaign that you did? This is a picture of you, and it went when I say viral, it was everywhere. And when I see this picture, it's like a liberation. That's
actually a real picture. So the story really quickly is I had just gotten off stage of doing the Monet Exchange show, the Exchange Rate, at the Build series.
Wow.
And I performed my song Eye on You. And I was like, I want to do something that's really just going to like leave a lasting impression. And so I got this amazing artist, Astro Bat Boy, to come and do this body painting on me. And it was Astro Boy, sorry, not Astro Bat Boy. And so I wanted the word Stop Killing Us to just resonate, because not only as a woman of color, but a woman of trans experience, we need to protect women, and women are not protected the way that people think we are. And we're constantly trafficked, we're constantly sexually abused. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go stand in the middle of the street. So the studio where we filmed is literally right behind me, to the right, on the ladder block.
Okay.
And I wore my robe out, and I was just like, my manager was with me, and I was like, okay, we just need to go and just take some photos. Click, 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 click. And this became the photo.
Wow.
And I put it out there because, A, I'm not always going to look like this, but B, I wanted this to be a statement for people to actually really stop and think about what happens. We're visual creatures. We see things that, resonate more. Art is really, I think, the revolution. You revolutionize community through art.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something like that. And the response I got was just people were like, absolutely. Of course, there are people who don't get it or who don't understand, but the message is bigger than me.
I spoke about this with one of my other guests about educating people. And it's funny, as a queer person, as a trans woman, I feel like we have the constant have to educate, but I give people a quick 5-minute lesson.
Yeah.
If they don't understand it, then I feel that there's hate in them. How do you feel like you have the responsibility to educate people to a certain extent?
Yes and no. I think that we all have different journeys and we all have different lives for a reason. I think part of our purpose here on Earth is to help each other and to be there for each other in ways that we can. But I think you have to be cognizant of overextending yourself. If someone's not getting the message, you can't force it on them. If they're willing to learn, that is really great. And a lot of people are actually really willing to learn. They just don't know where to begin.
Stop killing us is a message.
Stop killing us. And that's not just about Black trans people. That's not just about Black women. This is the vessel that it's coming from, but this is about all of us. Stop killing us in so many different ways. Stop killing our creativity. Stop killing our need to be heard, our zest for life and love and communication. It just means much more than that. But this is the immediate, idea that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do something so that people can see it.
Yeah.
And then
They saw it.
they saw it.
I
and
saw
like,
it. I'm
Yeah,
inspired by
exactly.
it. And I think this even segues into my next statement and question, what is it going to take for the media and politicians to stop targeting the trans community? For example, Trans Day of Visibility fell on Easter this year. Republicans were saying it's an abomination to Christianity. House Speaker Mike Johnson said the Biden administration had betrayed the central tenet of Easter. Note, Trans Day of Visibility was put into proclamation every year on March 31st. I get a little emotional saying that because the emotions come from frustration and anger from the politics and the media trying to continue to berate and discriminate against the trans community.
Listen, it wasn't our fault Easter did. This is what happened, and this just proves for the fact that we're not going anywhere, and we have always been here. And just to answer your question, people are smart.
Yeah,
people are smart, and I think I'm rooting for people to really use their thinking caps, and we can come together outside of what the laws and the rules of the government say to support each other. The more that people are learning that their neighbors, their friends, their cousins, their siblings, their children are trans, the more that they're going to have a direct connection to that.
Yeah.
And they can learn to love that person. I always say this in different interviews, but I call it a little bit similar to the Ellen effect. The actress Ellen DeGeneres, when she came out on television as a lesbian, it just changed the world. People started to realize that they had gay friends and family members, and people started to make space and
people
understand
started
that
living their truth.
They're living their truth and letting them live their truth.
Yeah.
And not everyone knows a trans person. I think that's where we are in society now, is that people are starting to realize, well, actually, I do know someone who's trans, and I'm willing to know about that.
It's so funny because Trans Day of Visibility, we are not shown trans people on TV. We are not shown trans people on media. This is something new that has happened. I felt like seeing more awareness, how does that make you feel? And where do you feel like the issue still is, and how much do they still need to move forward with it?
Well, it's just, one thing to see us and another thing to actually apply yourself. You are going to see us on TV. You are going to see us in media. We are not all the same. We're not a monolith. We all come from different backgrounds, and we all have different struggles. But overall, as a group and as a community, we are people that just are looking for decent respect and the ability to have equity.
Yeah.
And to make a living for our lives, and to bring joy and happiness to the people that are around us.
Yeah.
Our communities are very strong. We love the people in our community. We are often, especially Black trans women, are leaders in our community and like the mothers. So we want to take care of our family and the people around us.
Speaking of the leaders, why do you feel, it pains me to see the LGBTQIA community go against trans rights. It's actually mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because they've been lost in the sauce. The sauce can wash over you, and you can quickly forget what it's all about. And that happens, I believe, to all of us. I think the homework is always continuous to continue to learn that, wait a minute, I need to check myself. I need to check myself at the door. And I always tell this to people, when I'm dealing with anyone in the community, whether it's pronouns, my pronouns are she, her, hers, and goddess, if you but I always like to say, I'm standing to be corrected if I make the mistake of misgendering someone, or I'm not clear on how they identify.
Yeah.
But I think that people get, in our community, we have a proximity to power that everyone wants to have and wants to get. And that just throws the logic of loving each other and letting each other thrive the way they are. That throws out the window sometimes.
People have come to me because I felt liberated when I changed my pronouns on my Instagram profile to he, him, they, them, because I felt they, them for so long, and it was so liberating. And I'm okay with both.
Yeah.
People in the community were like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I'll tell you a word to remember really quickly, not to cut you off.
No,
this is for everyone listening. It's called radical acceptance.
Wow.
That has been my new mantra.
Wow.
A dear friend of mine has a hat that actually says that on it. It says radical acceptance. And the story behind it is actually for a different reason. But I think about that and I go, what is it like to just let people be who they are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what harm is it causing you by letting
Well, I
somebody
think
be
the
who
harm
they
is
are?
the harm is an illusion, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what the government is doing and what the laws against trans folks is all about. It's part of the fear-mongering tactic. It's just to make people scared of what actually isn't happening.
Yeah.
Just touching on like a bathroom bill law being passed.
Yeah.
Trans folks are not in the bathroom doing anything other than trying to use the bathroom.
That's a boggling my mind too. It makes no sense.
But there's no
to me.
data and there's
I
no
know.
stats. Like there are not actually calculations of saying like we have gotten these people, you know, from doing X, Y, and Z. And then the other issue for me is there are people who are overlooked who may be more harmful or more dangerous, and we become the scapegoat. Like
Somehow
That's
the
not
roles
right.
are reversed.
yeah, yeah,
And it gets targeted to you.
yeah. We become the target.
That
yeah.
is crazy to me. You know, we have a few more questions before we go into your music career, but I think another question that is affecting the trans community is access to medical care. 480 anti-trans bills were introduced during the Trump administration. 480. With more states pulling back rights for trans people, can you give me your thoughts on how harmful this is for the community and for any healthcare people watching? Give them your thoughts.
This is harmful because we are always outcast. We are always on the outskirts. We're most often never considered to have agency over our bodies, over our existence. But even with all of that, what I would love to add to that conversation is, guess what? Trans people have done it without any support.
Amen.
We have continued to learn and find ways to be resilient, to show up for ourselves. Transitioning, for example, and trans care is like we figured all of that out. We've done that without anyone's permission and access, right? And gender affirming care. And the fact that gender affirming care is something that cisgender people do.
I know. It boggles my mind.
Gender affirming care is, you know, the way you do your hair.
Yeah.
It's not just surgery. It is the way that you maybe style yourself. You know, these are ways that you affirm who you are. So like, it's not just about that, you know, version of people being different. Like you can be yourself and you can have gender affirming care and it not be about being trans.
Yeah. You need an audiobook because the way you speak and the way that you know, exhibit your thoughts is just so beautiful.
Oh, thank
and
you
it's just like
so
really
much.
resonating with me. I'm just like in a trance, staring at you. Seriously.
But that's what I've seen. That's what I believe. That's what I think is the truth. And you know, people who don't understand that I think that again, like you know, I think they're just mistaken.
I want to switch gears a little bit and go back to your music. You know, how do you want people to feel? Because you've been such an advocate for the entire community with your music. How does it make you feel, and what do you want to continue to do with your music to help inspire and advocate for the LGBTQIA community?
It makes me a little emotional.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just want to empower people.
Yeah.
I want them to know that they're loved and that they can be great. And that they can be inspired and should be inspired.
Yeah.
I hope that when they listen to any of my music, they feel effortless and weightless and just able to go out and attack the world and just be themselves.
Yeah.
I think a lot of my records are really about self-love and joy and self-empowerment and overcoming bad relationships or, you know, not loving yourself, learning how to be okay with who you are.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful statement. And I just remember meeting you however many years ago and seeing you perform. I was just like, this is just so beautiful to hear you sing. Your voice is amazing. You write your own music. You talk about advocacy. There is purpose behind your music, which is so beautiful to hear. With that being said, what is next on the music agenda for you?
Oh my God.
There's so much.
We have so much. I'm super excited. I'm actually working on my first album. I've never put out like a full body of work. And so we've been diligently working on this. And The new music is going to start dropping soon.
Wow.
I'm working with these amazing producers who are from Australia, 1 and 2 Productions. Shout out to them. I love you guys. The production factor for this album and for the new music is really the top. It's like really what I want this to be about. And the feeling of this music and this album is I want people to just, it's pop. Like it's real pop, but I want people to have a good time and have fun. It's a little, tongue in cheek. It's a little like, I think it's like a hybrid of some touches of like Janet, but a little touch. Obviously, it's Mila Jam. Hello, but like it's got some like Janet moments, and it's got some Britney moments, but it's also got some Meghan Trainor vibes to it, and it's got some fun, cunty, sassy moments.
Ooh, we love cunty sassy.
Yeah, it's cunty, sassy. That. A little bit of a Lizzo-ness to it.
But I think ultimately it's a Mila moment, and it's your moment.
It's a Mila moment for sure.
We actually have a video of us. I want to play it real quick because we also dance. Like, we're not only good friends, we dance together. This is one of our first videos that we've ever danced to together with.
So much.
It is just. I rent studios, and Mila teaches me because she's a choreographer, singer, songwriter, dancer, and it's just a little snippet. But Mila, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. Before we leave, I'd love to give you some flowers courtesy of Pop-Up Florist. Pop-Up Florist is a female-owned company creating feel-good flowers with innovative designs. And to all those tuning in, you can get a discount at popupflorist.com by using coupon code the Agent P Show at checkout. Mila, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my God, you're so sweet and so wonderful.
Look how gorgeous. Wait, let me get this bag out.
I'm so in love with you.
So perfect for
and I love flowers.
Apartment.
Thank you for giving me flowers.
Of course. To continue following Mila's journey, follow her on IG at the Mila Jam. Download her music everywhere where music is streamed, and stay tuned for all the new music that she's going to release.
Yes.
And there's also so much music already out there. So go stream
and download
a lot
it
now.
Go for it. Yes.
I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Agent P Show. Mwah.
Mwah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.